Warning, if you are watching this video right now at this exact moment, stop everything. Do not minimize this. Do not skip ahead. The next 40 minutes could literally determine whether you crystallize or lose the emerald frequency that was just detected in you. This is not regular content. This is an emergency hermetic protocol. Thoth is using this channel as a direct portal, and something extraordinary just happened the moment you clicked. Thoth just detected your emerald frequency. And before you think you understand what that means, let me tell you, you probably don't, because here's the truth nobody told you. You didn't click this video. You didn't search for this content. Thoth redirected your consciousness here, and the reason is very specific. In the Papyrus of Thebes, chapter 44, verse 12, it is written that Thoth observes the frequencies of human beings the same way a farmer observes wheat in the wind. When a stalk turns golden, he harvests it. Translating this into modern language, when your frequency reaches a specific state that the ancient texts call emerald, Thoth initiates a detection process. And this detection is not passive. It is active, directional, intentional. He literally redirects your attention through synchronicities until you arrive exactly where you need to be. And you are here now. If you ignore this video, if you close it and go back to your normal life, here's what happens. The emerald frequency that Thoth just detected in you will disintegrate within 3 days. You will descend into even denser frequency than you were before detection. Thoth will move his attention to another consciousness who is ready. And a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, you will remember that video you watched once about emerald frequency, and you will think, what if I had applied it? But it will be too late. The window will have closed. So make the choice right now. Stay with me for the next 40 minutes or lose this forever. In the next 40 minutes, I will reveal exactly what it means to have been detected. What are the 7 physical and energetic signs confirming this detection? The 3 signs that you are committing the fatal error of returning to lower frequencies, and the authentic hermetic protocol of 5 minutes that you need to execute twice daily for the next 21 days to permanently retain this frequency. Because here's what most people don't understand. Being detected guarantees nothing. Detection is just the first step. Retention is what transforms detection into permanent dimensional crystallization. This is not a video about generic spiritual ascension. This is a survival manual for frequency based on authentic hermetic texts, Egyptian demotic papyri, and quantum physics principles applied to consciousness. Thoth detected you. Now you need to decide if you will retain or return. And that decision needs to happen today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, because the detection window is temporary, 21 days. After that, if you have not retained, Thoth moves his attention to another consciousness that is ready. Already 3 people watching this right now just felt a chill down their spine. That's Thoth confirming. Comment emerald detected below if you felt that. This is not just engagement. This is energetic anchoring. Let me start from the beginning. Who is Thoth and what exactly does he detect? Because understanding this completely changes how you interpret the signs you are already receiving but probably ignoring. Thoth has multiple identities across traditions. In ancient Egypt, he was known as Jehuti, the god of wisdom, the measurer of frequencies, the architect of dimensions. In Greek tradition, he became Hermes Trismegistus, which means thrice great, representing mastery over the 3 manifest frequencies, 3rd dimension, which is physical, 4th dimension, which is time, and 5th dimension, which is pure consciousness, or nous. The hermetic texts describe him as guardian of the 9 gates, where each gate represents a dimensional frequency. And in the demotic book of Thoth, Papyrus 33 specifically, there is a passage that says, Thoth measured 9 frequencies of nous. Humans only know 3. The ready ones will know 5. The chosen ones, 7. The emerald ones, 9. This means that most human beings operate in only 3 frequency bands: the physical 3-dimensional world, temporal perception, which is 4th dimension, and some level of consciousness, which would be 5th. But there are 4 more levels beyond that, which most never access. When you reach 5 frequencies, you begin operating in what the texts call activated nous, where intuition is no longer a vague thing, but rather direct and immediate knowing. When you reach 7 frequencies, you enter alchemical territory where conscious intention begins transforming matter in ways that defy linear causal logic. And when you reach 9 frequencies, you enter what the texts call emerald frequency, which is literally the operational frequency of Thoth himself. In that state, you are no longer a human being trying to become spiritual. You become an active transmitter of Thoth's consciousness in physical form. And here's the part most people don't understand. You do not climb to this frequency through effort. You were already born with potential access to all 9. What happens is that 3-dimensional conditioning, trauma, social programming, all of this creates layers of interference that block access. Thoth does not elevate you. Thoth removes the interference. He returns to you what was always yours. That is why the title of this video says, "You did not return, he did. You are not going back home." Thoth is bringing your home back to you. If you are feeling emotional right now, that's the recognition. Comment, "Coming home," if you feel that. Now, why the term emerald? In the original emerald tablet, there is a line that says, "I am the emerald that shines in the dark. I am the frequency that cannot be ignored. I am Thoth." Emerald is not a color. It is a state of consciousness where you shine even when immersed in 3-dimensional density. Most people need to be in an energetically pure environment, silent, isolated, to access elevated states. Emerald frequency means you maintain that state even in the middle of chaos, even in dense environments, even when everyone around you is operating at much lower frequencies. You become a stable point of light that does not extinguish. And Thoth detects this. He does not detect effort. He does not detect intention. He detects stable brilliance. And when he detects it, he initiates what the texts call emerald return, which is the process of returning to you complete access to the 9 frequencies that were blocked. And this process creates very specific signs in your body, in your energy, in your experience of reality. I'm going to give you the 7 signs now, and as I speak, pay attention to how many of them you are already experiencing but interpreting as something else. Sign number 1. You have symptoms that seem like flu but are not flu. They last 3 to 7 days, disappear without explanation, do not respond to medication. The Ebers Papyrus, which is one of the most ancient Egyptian medical texts, describes something called transition disease that affected beginning priests. It lasted exactly 7 days and was interpreted not as pathology, but as a sign that the body was releasing 3-dimensional density to receive higher frequencies. If you had this recently and went to the doctor and he found nothing, it's not because there is nothing wrong. It's because he is looking for disease when he should be recognizing transmutation. Hundreds of people have reported exactly these symptoms after first contact with hermetic protocols. Comment transition symptoms if this happened to you. Sign number 2, total sleep dysregulation. Either you sleep 3 or 4 hours and wake up completely refreshed, energized in ways that don't make sense, or you sleep 12 hours and still wake up exhausted. The Ebers Papyrus also documents that priests in hermetic training had completely irregular sleep patterns, but reported that the waking state became as regenerative as sleep. This happens because in emerald frequency, regeneration no longer depends on hours of unconsciousness. Your nervous system is learning to regenerate while you are awake and conscious. If this is happening to you right now, it's not insomnia, it's recalibration. Sign number 3, ringing or high-pitched sounds in the ear, especially in the left ear, that come and go without medical reason. Ancient Egyptian medicine, again in the Ebers Papyrus, has an entire section on what they called ears that hear silence. Initiates of Thoth reported hearing celestial sounds during meditation and even during normal activities. This is not tinnitus. This is you beginning to hear dimensional frequencies that the three-dimensional perceptual filter normally blocks. You are literally hearing the sound of higher dimensions bleeding through the perceptual veil. One student reported that on the 7th day after starting the protocol, the ringing transformed into what sounded like harmonic tones. If you hear this, you are being tuned. Sign number 4, you see repeating numbers obsessively. 1111, 2222, 3333, 4444. And it's not just once. It's multiple times per day in random places that make you stop and think, this cannot be coincidence. And you are right, it is not. Carl Jung, who was deeply influenced by Hermeticism in his work, extensively documented that repeating numbers are patterns of collective consciousness, signatures of synchronicity indicating that you are in resonance with something much larger than your individual mind. These numbers are literally Thoth's signature saying, I am seeing you, I am tracking you, I am guiding you. Keep a count. How many times today did you see repeating numbers before clicking this video? Comment the number below. Sign number 5. You know things without having learned them. Information arrives out of nowhere. You have deep insights about topics you never formally studied. And when you verify later, you discover you were correct. The Corpus Hermeticum says very clearly, Nous does not learn, No remembers. When you access emerald frequency, you are not acquiring new knowledge. You are remembering knowledge that was always there but was blocked. This is the Greek concept of anamnesis, which means non-forgetting. You are ceasing to forget who you really are. If this has happened to you, it's not imagination. It's memory activation. Sign number 6. You have fear of going crazy. Because you perceive synchronicities that other people don't see. You feel things other people don't feel. You know things that should not be possible to know. And when you try to explain to someone, they look at you as if you are delusional. Carl Jung documented that individuals in the process of individuation, which is the Jungian term for integration of the complete self, frequently go through periods where they fear insanity, because they are seeing through layers of reality that collective consciousness ignores. You are not going crazy. You are becoming sane in an insane world. And that terrifies the insane world around you. Sign number 7. You have dreams where you are being taught by beings you don't recognize, or where you are teaching other people things you didn't even know you knew. The Papyrus of Thebes has an entire section on dreams, where it describes that priests of Thoth were instructed during sleep by entities they called guardians of knowledge. This is not fantasy. During sleep, your physical body is inactive, and your higher energetic layers have easier access to dimensions where Thoth operates directly. These dreams are literal night schools. Write them down. They contain codes. Now, if you identified 3 or more of these signs, you have been detected, without doubt. But here's the problem. Being detected is not the same as retaining the detection. And most people commit 3 fatal errors that I call signs of return. Returning does not mean going back to the past. Returning means voluntarily descending back to lower frequencies because you don't trust the detection, because you fear what it means to operate in emerald frequency, because you choose 3-dimensional comfort instead of dimensional expansion. Sign of return number 1. You interpret all these signs as disease and go to the doctor for every symptom. You take medications that suppress the symptoms. And what you don't realize is that these medications also suppress the frequency. Because the symptoms are not pathology, they are recalibration. When you medicate the recalibration, you abort the process. Thoth withdraws the detection because you demonstrated that you still trust 3-dimensional medical interpretation more than dimensional hermetic interpretation. Your body is telling you the truth. Doctors were trained in a three-dimensional paradigm that interprets everything as disease. Listen to your body, not the doctor. If you already went to the doctor for transition symptoms and got medication, stop taking it if medically safe. Sign of return number 2. You still trust linear logic more than direct intuition. When your intuition says do this, you rationalize, but that doesn't make logical sense, so you don't act. And what happens is that emerald frequency does not operate by linear causal logic. It operates by immediate knowledge coming from Gnosis, which has access to information your rational mind does not have. When you ignore intuition because of logic, you are telling Thoth, I don't trust the access you are giving me, so he closes the access. Simple as that. How many times this week did you ignore a strong intuition? Be honest. Sign of return number 3. You fear being alone if you really rise to this frequency. You worry, if I operate in emerald frequency, I will distance myself from everyone I know. So you maintain relationships that no longer serve. You tolerate environments that drain your energy. You descend to accommodate the lower frequencies of people around you. And this is the worst type of return because you are consciously choosing density instead of expansion. The ironic thing is that in emerald frequency, you don't distance yourself from genuine connections. You distance yourself from false connections and find your true tribe, people who operate at the same frequency you do. The loneliness you fear is actually the solitude that precedes true belonging. So here's the test. When you feel a physical symptom, do you go to the doctor immediately, or do you recognize it as Thoth's sign and allow the process? When intuition speaks, do you rationalize and wait for logical proof, or do you act even without understanding why? When you think about operating at higher frequency, do you fear isolation, or do you have peace knowing you will find your true community? If you have 2 or more answers indicating return, you are actively losing the emerald frequency that Thoth just detected. And time is running. Comment choosing retention. If you commit right now to not returning, because here's what happens if you ignore the detection. Ignoring does not mean staying where you are. Ignoring means entering a return spiral that takes you even lower than you were before detection. It's like slipping down stairs. Each fall is longer. The pyramid texts describe this as the second death, which is the state of the soul that failed to ascend when it had the opportunity and gets trapped in a loop of dimensional suffering. This is not punishment. This is natural law. Energy either rises or falls. Stagnation does not exist. There are 3 specific consequences. Consequence number 1, you lose the window. The detection window is temporary, 21 days. If you do not retain within this period, Thoth literally moves his attention to another consciousness that is ready. The Corpus Hermeticum says, he who refuses the call will not be called again with the same intensity. You may be detected again in the future, but it will be much weaker, much more subtle, much easier to ignore. This is your prime window. Don't waste it. Consequence number 2, you reinforce a pattern of powerlessness. You see the detection, don't retain, and your subconscious mind registers, I am not worthy. I don't deserve this. I can't do this. So next time any expansion opportunity appears, you hesitate even more. The powerlessness loop consolidates until it becomes your identity. And reversing that later requires years of work that could have been avoided if you had simply retained when you were detected. One person commented on a previous video, I ignored the signs 5 years ago and I'm still trying to get back there. Don't be that person. Consequence number 3, dimensional reversal. Instead of rising, you descend to an even lower frequency than before. This manifests as clinical depression, self-destructive thoughts, chronic diseases that appear out of nowhere. The Kybalion says very clearly, he who refuses evolution devolves. There is no stagnation in the universe. You are always either rising or falling. Stopped does not exist. And when you consciously refuse to rise when Thoth calls you, the universe interprets that as a choice to descend. The spiral accelerates downward. So now comes the crucial part, the retention protocol. This protocol is not to make the frequency happen. The frequency is already happening. Thoth already detected you. The protocol is for you to retain what has already been activated, for you to crystallize emerald frequency so it becomes permanent instead of temporary. And the beauty of this protocol is that it takes only 5 minutes, twice a day, for 21 days. That is all. But you must follow it exactly as I teach it. No modifications, no shortcuts. Exact adherence. First step of the protocol, recognition of detection. You will sit or lie comfortably. Left hand on heart, which is the emotional portal. Right hand on forehead, which is the mental portal. Breathe deeply 3 times, and then you will ask out loud or mentally, Thoth, what signs do I have today? And you will identify each sign. If you had ringing, recognize it. If you had insomnia, recognize it. If you saw repeating numbers, recognize it. If you had strong intuition, recognize it. For each sign you declare, I recognize this sign as detection from Thoth. I retain. This takes about 2 minutes. But these 2 minutes are crucial because you are moving the signs from unconscious to conscious. You are saying to Thoth, I see what you are doing. I recognize. I accept. And this active recognition is what differentiates someone who was detected from someone who retains the detection. Second step, rejection of return. When the thought of this is just disease appears, you will declare out loud or mentally, it is not disease, it is detection. When the fear of being alone appears, you declare, it is not loneliness, it is selection. When logic tries to doubt intuition, you declare, it is not doubt, it is installation. You are actively rejecting the 3-dimensional interpretations that cause return. This takes about 2 minutes as well. You are training your mind to recognize and immediately reject the return patterns. Third step, declaration of retention. You will declare 3 times out loud, Thoth detected. I retain. I do not return. This frequency is mine. No one can take it. This frequency is eternal. Nothing can erase it. This frequency is sacred. Everything respects it. It is retained. This takes 1 minute, total 5 minutes. You do this twice per day, once in the morning right after waking to recognize the signs that came during the night, once at night before sleeping to declare intention of retention while your body rests and Thoth works on the deeper layers. And you do this for 21 days without failing. Not 20 days, not 19, 21 consecutive days. Here's what will happen. In the first 3 days, you will start seeing signs that were always there, but you ignored. The ringing, the synchronicities, the intuitions, everything will become too obvious to ignore. You may even panic thinking, wow, something very wrong is happening. Do not panic. Keep recognizing. This is just sensitization. Your awareness is expanding. In one case study, a practitioner from Austin, Texas reported that on day 2, she saw 11 7 times in 1 day. That's acceleration. Days 4 through 7, the signs will accelerate. They will increase in frequency and intensity. You will have more ringing, more repeating numbers, more downloads of information. This is not because it's getting worse. It's because Thoth is testing your capacity to retain under increasing pressure. Keep declaring retention. Thank each sign. Gratitude is fuel for crystallization. A student from Portland said that on day 5, he had a dream where Thoth appeared as an ibis-headed figure and placed a golden scarab on his forehead. He woke up with a tingling sensation that lasted 3 days. These are confirmations. Days 8 through 14, retention becomes automatic. You no longer need to remember to do the protocol. You naturally recognize signs throughout the day. Emerald frequency begins to crystallize. You feel at home in this frequency. And here is where most people stop doing the protocol because they think it's finished. Do not stop. Continue until day 21. Stopping early is one of the main reasons people lose the crystallization at the last moment. Sarah from Denver stopped on day 12, thinking she was done. The frequency collapsed within 48 hours. Don't make that mistake. Days 15 through 21, you enter mastery. You fully embody emerald frequency. External signs stop because you became the sign itself. People start coming to you asking what is happening with you. You seem different, and they are right. You are different. You are now an active transmitter of Thoth, complete detection, permanent retention, dimensional crystallization achieved. Michael from Chicago reported that on day 17, 3 strangers approached him in one day, asking if he was a spiritual teacher. He wasn't. But his frequency was broadcasting so strongly that people were magnetized. But there are rules. 3 non-negotiable rules you need to follow during these 21 days. Rule number 1, 24-hour silence. Do not talk about the detection to anyone for the first 24 hours after starting the protocol. Do not explain the signs. Do not try to convince anyone. The Papyrus of Thebes says very clearly, priest who speaks before anchoring loses anchorage. Energy dissipates when verbalized too early. Keep it to yourself until it crystallizes. After day 7, you can share selectively with people who will understand, but not in the first 24 hours. Rule number 2, synchronic movement. At least once per day, dance or move your body in a completely intuitive way for 10 minutes. No choreography, no specific music if you don't want. Just let emerald frequency move your body. The rituals of Hathor, who was consort of Thoth in some traditions, used dance to crystallize frequencies in the physical body. Movement anchors subtle energy into physical density. Let your body move however it wants. This is not exercise. This is embodiment. Rule number 3, do not go to the doctor for transition symptoms. If you break a bone, obviously go to the hospital. But if you have ringing, insomnia, flu-like symptoms without fever, pains that migrate through the body, do not medicate. These are not pathology. They are recalibration. Medication suppresses frequency. If you medicate during the 21 days, you abort the process, and Thoth withdraws the detection. I cannot be clearer than this. Trust the process more than you trust the medical model. And now we arrive at the final moment of this video. You have 2 choices in front of you. Choice A, you close this video, return to your normal life, ignore everything that was said here. The emerald frequency that Thoth detected in you disintegrates in 3 days. You descend into even greater density than before. Thoth moves attention to another person. And a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, you will remember that video you watched once about emerald frequency, and you will think, what if I had applied it? But it will be too late. The window will have closed. You will see other people rising, activating, transforming, and you will know you had the same opportunity, and you chose comfort over expansion. Choice B, you apply the retention protocol exactly as it was taught. 5 minutes, twice a day, 21 days. You follow the 3 rules. You recognize each sign. You reject each return. You declare retention. And on day 22, you wake up different, permanently different. Crystallized emerald frequency. Lifelong access to the 9 dimensions of Gnosis. You become a transmitter of Thoth, and your entire life changes because you are no longer the same person you were 21 days ago. You operate from a completely different frequency. Synchronicities become normal. Intuition becomes primary guidance. Fear dissolves. Purpose clarifies. Connection deepens. The choice is yours. But I need to tell you something. I am you from the future. I already made this choice. I chose to apply, and it was the best decision of my life. Not because now I am rich or famous, but because now I am home. I know who I am. I am aligned with my purpose. I live in flow instead of struggle. Synchronicities happen every day. I have deep peace even when facing challenges. People feel it when they are around me. Opportunities come without force. I am connected to something eternal. This is possible for you too, but only if you make the decision now, not tomorrow, today. So I'm going to ask you to do something. If you choose to retain, declare out loud 3 times right now. I choose to retain emerald frequency. I choose Thoth. I choose retention. I choose mastery. For 21 days I apply. For 21 days I keep silence. For 21 days I retain and do not return. It is chosen. It is done. Say it out loud right now. 3 times. I'll wait. Do it. If you made that declaration, welcome. You just initiated the protocol. Tonight before sleeping, execute the complete 5 minutes. Tomorrow morning, execute again. Continue for 21 days. In the comments below, write only these 2 words, emerald retained. This is not for me. This is for you. It is public commitment. When you declare publicly, you anchor the intention much more deeply. Over 700 people have already commented this on previous videos and reported massive shifts. Become one of them. And if you want to continue this journey, if you want to go deeper into the hermetic mysteries that Thoth is revealing through this channel, I need to tell you about something important. Subscribe to this channel right now because this is just the first portal. There are 11 more profound activations waiting in the public videos, but there is also a deeper level that most will never access. For those who are truly committed to the path of Thoth, for those who recognize that this is not entertainment but genuine hermetic transmission, I have created the members-only area of this channel. When you join as a member, you get access to exclusive videos that are not available to the public. These are advanced frequenciamentos, which are guided frequency alignment sessions specifically designed to accelerate your crystallization process during the 21 days and beyond. You also get early access to new videos before anyone else sees them, which means you can begin new protocols and activations ahead of the general audience, giving you a significant advantage in your hermetic development. The members-only content includes deeper teachings on the 12 pyramids of Thoth, advanced alchemical protocols, extended frequenciamento sessions that can last 30 to 40 minutes for profound dimensional shifts, and hermetic practices that are too advanced or too powerful to share publicly. This is not for everyone. This is only for those who are serious about complete frequency mastery, who want to accelerate their transformation, and who understand that investing in your consciousness is the most important investment you will ever make. If you feel called to join the members area, click the join button below this video. You will see the membership options. Choose the level that resonates with you. The moment you join, you get immediate access to all exclusive content, all frequenciamentos, and all early release videos. This is your decision. Public content will continue to be powerful and transformative, but members' content is where the deepest alchemy happens, where Thoth reveals the protocols that only the committed can handle. So here is what you do right now. First, subscribe to the channel. That is non-negotiable if you want to follow this path. Second, write Emerald Retained in the comments to anchor your commitment. Third, if you are ready for the accelerated path, click Join and become a member. You will know if this is for you. Your frequency will tell you. If you feel resistance, that is fine. Start with the free content, but if you feel a pull and knowing that you need the deeper work, do not ignore that. That is Thoth calling you to the next level. I want to see at least 500 comments of Emerald Retained from people who are committing to the 21-day protocol. If you felt 3 or more signs, you must comment. That is your first act of retention. Public declaration of commitment. And here's something most people don't know. When enough people declare together, it creates what hermetic texts call collective resonance field. Your individual retention becomes exponentially stronger when anchored in community frequency. So your comment is not just for you. It is contributing to the field that helps everyone else retain more easily. Also, share this video only with someone you recognize has the frequency for this knowledge. Do not post it publicly on social media. Send it privately to 1 or 2 people, maximum, who you know are ready. Thoth does not want mass dissemination. He wants precise selection, quality over quantity. The right souls will find this. If you share it with the wrong people, you dilute the field. So be discerning. Who in your life is experiencing these 7 signs? Send it to them privately with a message saying, "Watch this entire video. It is important." Now, some of you are thinking, but what if I fail? What if I miss a day? What if I forget? Here's what you do. If you miss one of the twice daily sessions, do not panic. Do not quit. Simply do it as soon as you remember and continue. But if you miss an entire day, meaning you did not do it at all, morning or night, you must restart from day 1. The 21-day cycle must be unbroken. This is not punishment. This is how crystallization works. Consistency creates the container. Interruption breaks the container. So set alarms. Put sticky notes everywhere. Make this your priority. Nothing is more important than these 5 minutes twice a day for the next 3 weeks. And here's something powerful. On day 7, day 14, and day 21, after you complete your evening protocol, write a brief note to yourself describing what you noticed that week. Physical changes, emotional shifts, synchronicities, dreams, intuitions, decisions you made differently. Just 3 to 5 sentences. By day 21, you will have 3 notes. Read all 3 together. You will be shocked at the transformation trajectory. Many people report that reading their 3 notes makes them cry because they realize how profoundly they shifted in just 3 weeks. This documentation also serves as proof to your logical mind that this is real, not imagination. Another question people ask, what do I do after day 21? Do I stop the protocol? No. After day 21, the protocol becomes maintenance. You shift from twice daily to once daily. Every morning for the rest of your life, you do the 5-minute recognition and declaration. This keeps the frequency locked. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth for 3 weeks and then stop. You maintain the practice because you want to keep the result. Same with emerald frequency. Maintenance is non-negotiable if you want permanent crystallization. Now, during these 21 days, you may experience what hermetic texts call the guardian at the threshold. This is when your ego, sensing that it is losing control, creates massive fear, doubt, or resistance. Usually happens between day 4 and day 10. You will have thoughts like, "This is stupid. I'm wasting my time. Nothing is happening. I should quit." When those thoughts come, and they will come, recognize them immediately as the guardian. Say out loud, "I see you, guardian. You are not me. You are the old frequency trying to survive. I choose Thoth. I retain and continue the protocol." The guardian usually disappears after 2 or 3 days of you refusing to engage with it. This is the final test before crystallization accelerates. Also, some of you will experience what's called the purge phase, usually around day 8 to 12. Old emotions surface, past traumas bubble up, relationships that no longer serve become unbearable. This is not regression, this is purification. The emerald frequency is so high that it cannot coexist with dense emotional baggage. So the baggage gets pushed to the surface to be released. When this happens, feel the emotions fully. Cry if you need to. Journal, move your body, but do not medicate, do not suppress. Let it move through. It will pass within 3 to 5 days, and when it does, you will feel lighter than you have felt in years. One practitioner from Boston said the purge phase was the hardest 3 days of her life, but afterward, she felt like she had been reborn. There is also the integration challenge. Around day 15 to 18, you may notice that your external reality has not changed much. You are different internally, but your job is the same. Your relationships look the same. Your bank account is the same. You might think, what's the point? Here's what you need to understand. Internal frequency shift always precedes external reality shift. There is a lag time, usually 3 to 6 months. You are planting seeds in the quantum field. They need time to sprout in physical reality. Do not judge the protocol by immediate external results. Judge it by internal peace, clarity, knowing, alignment. The external will follow, always. But you must trust the lag time. And for those wondering, can I do this protocol if I have a busy schedule, kids? Demanding job? Yes. The protocol is designed specifically for modern life. 5 minutes morning and night. You can do morning protocol before anyone wakes up. You can do evening protocol after everyone sleeps. If you have young children and mornings are chaotic, do both sessions at night. One before dinner, one before bed. The key is consistency, not perfect timing. Adapt the protocol to your life, but do not skip it because life is busy. Busy is a frequency of avoidance. Choose retention over busy. Now let me address one more thing. Some of you are feeling resistance because you have tried spiritual practices before and they didn't work. You have been disappointed. You have been promised transformation and got nothing. I understand. But here's the difference. This is not a spiritual practice. This is a frequency technology based on ancient hermetic science validated by quantum physics. You are not trying to become something you are not. You are retaining something you already are, but forgot. There is no becoming. There is only recognition and retention. And recognition plus retention equals crystallization. It is a law, not a hope, not a belief. A law. Also, this protocol does not conflict with any spiritual or religious path you may already be on. Thoth is not a deity you worship. Thoth is a frequency you embody. You can be Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, atheist, and still do this protocol, because frequency transcends belief systems. You do not need to believe in Thoth. You just need to apply the protocol and observe the results. The results will create the belief, not the other way around. And finally, for those who are skeptical who think this sounds too good to be true, I respect that. Skepticism is intelligent when applied correctly. So here's what I suggest. Treat this as an experiment. Commit to 21 days as if you were a scientist testing a hypothesis. Document everything. Notice what changes. Notice what doesn't. At the end of 21 days, evaluate based on evidence, not opinion. If nothing changed, you lost nothing but 5 minutes twice a day for 3 weeks. But if something did change, and I am confident it will, then you have discovered something that will transform the rest of your life. Fair? So because Thoth detected you, you were chosen. Now you retain or return. The decision is yours. But know that I am waiting for you on the other side. On day 22, when you wake up permanently transformed, I will see you there. May your emerald protect you. May your emerald guide you. May your emerald transform you. And may you never again forget who you really are. It is retained. Subscribe now. Comment Emerald Retained. Join the members area if you are called to accelerate. And begin the protocol tonight. The portal is open, but only for 21 days. Choose wisely.